Outside of that, you will never know it. I can tell it to you from now to the ends of time. And maybe you will believe me. And maybe you will be hopeful. But as he said earlier, in this one page, I knew hope and fear. Those twin faces of the uncertain future. I hope he's telling me the truth. And yet it's mingled with fear. Have I done the right thing? You've done the right thing. You've gone through all of these things that he mentioned on that page. You've known the flesh and the weaknesses of the flesh. You've known the friendship of men, the blind devotion of the dogs. You've known all these things, but in the end, after you have drained the cup, you will turn up. For there is a river that makes happy the city of God. There is a river, and that river flows down and it flows up. Read it in the 46th Psalm. This river, you're told, God is in the midst of it, and it shall not be moved. And that river is within you. It's not a thing on the outside. It's not the Nile. It's not any river in the world outside of man. The whole vast world is man pushed out. And that river is within you. And it comes down from above. I am from above. And that to which I go, it is from below. I come down into the world of generation to experience generation, which leads me into decay and death. And having played it all, then I turn around and move up once more to the top, bringing with me the sum total of the experiences of my descent into the written word. So he said, I now descend into the written word to make it alive. The written word is his holy Bible, his holy word. It's a sealed book for anyone who only has reason, no matter how wise he is in this world. As he reads it, it's a stupid book. They take it as history, and it's not secular history. It's the eternal history. Something that is taking place forever and forever without change. That David hasn't changed in the unnumbered years, and neither has the Lord. The same Jesus Christ. The same yesterday, today, and forever. There is no change. And you think of someone today, if you met Abraham Lincoln, people think of Abraham Lincoln as he lived 100 years ago. Well, hasn't he aged in a world? Would you expect to meet the same man that was assassinated? Wouldn't he have aged? Well, not in God's history. David remains the eternal youth, and the Father is the eternal Father, the ageless one, without beginning, without end. And David never goes beyond the eternal youth, bearing witness to your fatherhood. For you are God the Father, but you don't know it yet. You are sung to sleep, as the man in my dream of last night was sung to sleep, and seemingly from his argument, independent of my perception of him. But I knew what I was doing. I was in complete control, and I knew wakefulness, and sleep, and dreams, and ignorance, and the flesh, and all these roundabout labyrinthine way of the reasoning mind. So I knew exactly what I'm looking at. But I knew I could not leave him. Only for a moment I would explain. And then I said, and when I now awake, where do you think you will be? And so I awoke, and the whole thing vanished. To return where? To leave them on the outside? No. To return to me. All that I behold, though it appears without, it is within my own wonderful human imagination, of which this world of mortality is but a shadow. It's the shadow world. All these are but signs dropped from my eternity. And they are telling me something. Everything is telling me something. So he begins his wonderful page, and he said, they're only emblems. But you know what an emblem is? An emblem is simply a visible object which reveals something other than what it appears to be. You go to Washington, D.C., and you wonder, I wonder if the president is in the White House. Well, look to see if his emblem is flying. If it's flying, he is in residence. He's not the flag. And you're looking at a flag, but it conveys a different idea. When he is in residence, that flag flies. When he's not, it is lowered. So you see a flag. And to the average person, it's only a flag. And they see an emblem. So that's the president's emblem. But they do not know what it signifies. It signifies his presence when it flies over the White House. Like a battleship that carries, or maybe it could be a destroyer. It could even be something less than the destroyer, who carries the admiral of the fleet, depending where he wants to be centered. And the admiral's flag is flying, and if it's there, that's where the admiral is. So these are emblems. These are signs dropped into this world of death from my eternity. So I who am the was, the is, and the is to be, descend to the written word, to fulfill the written word. For they're only emblems, and no one knows the meaning until the living word descends. So the word became flesh and dwells within us. And as it became flesh and dwells within us, it gave meaning to the word. For the word that we translate, logos, is translated as the word. In the beginning was the word, and the word was with God, and the word was God. That word logos meant, when it was used 2,000 years ago, what we mean today by the word reality. So reality comes down. You can't change it. It's forever. And then assumes flesh. And the word was made flesh and dwelt within us.